Are you ready for this?
Just stop it.
After 16 years as leader of the Ontario Liberal Party, and after 9 years as Premier, it's time for renewal. It's time for the next Liberal Premier.
It's our top story tonight, and the bombshell heard across the province. Dalton McGuinty surprising many by resigning, both as Premier and Liberal leader. Our man with political insight, of course, is my co-host from Focus Ontario. You also know him as News Talk 1010's own John Tory. Good to see you, John.
Hi, Leslie.
Surprised as everyone seemed to be tonight, are you?
Yeah. I mean, I think we all had sort of concluded it was a matter of time, but I'm not sure it was this time in mid-October, accompanied by a prorogation of the legislature. It's all kind of a surprise package. Even when he's in there, in the middle, and we were watching it on global television, of saying, I'm proroguing the House, I thought, okay, that's it. That's big enough news by itself. And then he says, goes on to say what we just saw there, which is that I'm stepping down.
So here's the question, of course, why now? Do we know?
Well, I think it's the accumulation of all this baggage we've been talking about on Focus Ontario. I mean, I think it's really starting to weigh them down. He didn't rule out the federal leadership tonight, and it deliberately didn't. They asked him about 5 times, and he said, I have no plans, which is not no. So if you wanted to get into that, you have to get out now. And I think as well, it may be just that they literally decided if they're going to do it at some point in the next little while, do it now and kind of take some relief from all this pounding they're taking every day.
But if he's running federally, let's say for the leadership, which of course he never answered tonight, isn't there a lot of baggage and a lot of negative stuff that's going to follow him as he tries to run?
Well, some, for sure. But I mean, it's better known to us in Ontario than it is to people outside of this province. And of course, even people in Ontario are going to say, well, look, what are they looking for in the Liberal Party of Canada? A winner. And this guy has won 3 elections. And so in the end, I think, yes, there's baggage, but there's also some good stuff. And look at the field. The field has got Mark Garneau, nice fellow, no charisma. Justin Trudeau, lots of charisma, but a question mark about the rest of it. And Deborah Coyne, isn't that the field so far?
Yep.
So, you know, Dalton McGuinty starts to look better and better.
What about his legacy here in Ontario? You know, is it going to be he bailed early, he should have stuck it out, or is it going to be one of a guy who, as a lot of Liberals are saying tonight, health and education reforms that really change the province?
I think the stuff about leaving early and proroguing will be gone in not 2 weeks, but it'll be gone in a short time. I think his positive legacy will be education. There's no question. I mean, he's done some good things there. I mean, I'm supportive of all-day kindergarten, for example. I think the negative legacy will be a fiscal, financial train wreck. He had the chance when he was just awash in money in 2004, 2005, and 2006, those years, to put some away, to be responsible with the money, and they just spent like it was going out of style, and now the chickens have come home to roost. So I think it'll be, like everybody's legacy, it'll be mixed. But the education stuff, I think, will stand well the test of time.
So he'll leave proroguing. In the meantime, he still has some work to be done possibly here.
I believe that what he said in his remarks carried here on Global, which was, we're going to take this time to sit down with Labour and sit down with the opposition and try and work some things out. I think he'll be trying very hard to do that, because both it'll be a good legacy for him, speaking of legacies, and because it'll mean his successor will have one less really messy thing to deal with, meaning this whole Labour wage freeze business. I think he'll try hard, and he'll be saying to the unions, well, you could deal with me one last time, or you can have Mr. Hudak. How would you like that? And I think some of them may come to the table and say, you know what, we'll deal with you.
All right, if you were a betting man, who's going to replace Dalton McGuinty? I know on Focus Ontario you've thrown around Kathleen Wynne, who you know very well. You fought her in the...
Yeah, she beat me in Don Valley West. She's very competent and so on. Chris Bentley, I mean, is a competent fellow, but has been damaged.
Yeah.
Eric Hoskins, I think, is somebody to watch because he's young and he's got nothing really on him. That's bad. He's smart. And then I think you'll see Dwight Duncan perhaps take a run, but the economy, you know, has certainly taken its toll on him. He's had to do some pretty tough stuff. Who am I forgetting now? There's at least one more I'm forgetting.
Well, if you're forgetting them, they're probably not going to win.
Well, no, that's not true. I mean, it's just, well, these are Liberals we're talking about, Leslie. I don't memorize their names. So I think it'll be a crowded field. You could have a couple of federal MPs say, look, we're not going anywhere, or even an ex-MP or two.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a fascinating race, and it is choosing a premier after all. I think the real question is this. Will that person, whoever it is, man or woman, will that person be able to present themselves as the new person, new broom sweeps clean, that old guy made all those mistakes, or will the voters remember, as they did with Kim Campbell, John Turner, Ernie Eves, no, you're not fooling us. You may have a new suit on, but you're the same old bunch, and we're throwing you out big time. And that's really the key question that will determine the next election.
So, do you think that we may be saying Premier Tim Hudak one day?
Well, I think that Tim Hudak can't be unhappy about tonight because it lets him sort of start with a blank slate against a new, competition. And it will be somebody where he has to hope that no matter who it is and how fresh they look, that he can remind people, these are the same people that brought you record high deficits, higher taxes, scandals galore, and that it sticks to the new person, and that Tim would then be the guy suddenly that becomes the sort of experienced hand of the tiller.
One thing for sure, you can never predict Ontario politics longer than a couple of days.
Can't predict any politics longer than a couple of days, Leslie.
All right, great insight as always. John Tory from News Talk 1010. Of course, we'll be talking about this on Focus this weekend. Thanks for coming in.
You think so?
I think so.